All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Fort Worth Community Arts Center and another live edition of our Box Lunch program. Today, again, we continue to talk to these fabulous featured artists for our New Stories, New Futures, a public art event taking place at the Will Rogers Memorial Center, August 20th and 21st. And today we are so very, very excited to have another fantastic artist and educator, community advocate, the one and only Jessica Fuentes. How are you doing today, Jessica?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. Another week is upon us and art is in the air. Before we get into our lovely conversation, do you mind just again introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about who you are and what it is you do?
Sure. So my name is Jessica Fuentes. I'm an artist, but on top of that, I'm also an educator. I've been an art educator for about 15 years. I've worked in classrooms and museums and higher education. And currently, though I've left the museum world, I do some consultant work. I'm working with the Wichita Falls Museum of Art on a project right now, and I've also been serving on the education planning committee for the Smithsonian Latino Center, which has been really exciting.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So are you centrally located in Texas still? Is this work being done virtually? Where are you at in the area? And what has that experience been like working in Wichita and with the Smithsonian? Where are you hiding out these days?
So I am here in Fort Worth. I'm about 5 minutes away from the Community Arts Center. Uh, so I am nearby. I've been doing kind of a mix of virtual and in-person things for some of these projects. For example, with the Wichita Falls Museum, I will be driving out there this weekend to go and have some meetings with them, but many of our meetings will be virtually. And with the Smithsonian Latino Center, I've been kind of working with them for a few years now. Pre-pandemic, they would fly us out and would spend some time in DC and do our meetings and kind of talk through programs and ideas. But during the pandemic, all of that has been virtual.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm curious, I spent a little time in DC. Is the Latino Smithsonian in the main, I say main Smithsonian building, there's several of them there. Does it have its own building or is it encompassed in some of the other museums that are up there in the Smithsonian area?
So what we're working on right now is opening the first gallery space, which will be in the main like history museum. So it'll be the first time that they have a physical gallery space just for the Smithsonian Latino Center. We've been working on that for a couple of years, and it will open next year. And then kind of in the background, we're also working towards and hoping for creating their own building on the mall as well.
That is absolutely amazing. How long has that particular project been in the works, so to speak, that you're aware of? I know that sometimes people, walk down the road and they're like, "Oh my God, that's great! Like, look, they just opened that building up." But I'm finding out, along with public art, that there is a really engaging process that often takes a lot of time. Can you tell us a little bit? Because I think it's important with a lot of the diversity and equity issues that are coming out now and people are starting to talk. There's a lot of changes that are expected overnight, so to speak. And I know that a lot of people may have a misconception about how long some of these projects can take. How long has this one been in the works?
So definitely when you're talking about large institutions, things move slowly. I've been a part of the education planning committee since about 2018. And so we've just been meeting, and that was all with the intention of opening the first gallery space, not the whole building. So I believe that those conversations though about the building have been going on for years prior to that as well. So it has been a process and a slow one, but we're really hopeful, and it's been exciting to be a part of it. They have educators and historians from all across the United States who are serving in different roles to help advise as they move forward.
That is just absolutely incredible. So hats off to you on being a part of getting that moving. And more importantly, sounds like opening very soon. So that is certainly a badge of honor you should wear proudly. And I certainly look forward to seeing that engagement up there in DC. There's some amazing museums and things on that mall. I've been there myself, and I still don't think I saw everything that was there in the 7 or 8 years that I lived there. When I found out that I was leaving, I very quickly got on the tram and very quickly ran through several of the museums I thought I'd have more time to see. So just another reason to get back up there and see all the wonderful stuff up there in our nation's capital for sure. So we call this box lunch. Here we are. Sounds like back at work in some areas, and it seems to be a little harder for me to prep lunches. So I'm curious now, we talked a little bit off camera. Do you have anything in your lunchbox today that will be, there it is. All right, what do you got in your lunch today?
So, okay, in my lunch today, the main thing that I brought was chicken salad. I don't know if I can. Mhm.
Now, is that
So
homemade or did you go with a pre-concocted blend?
it's homemade. I made it last night. It's one of those things that my family enjoys, and we try to, make it like every couple of weeks. So
Awesome, awesome.
we
Well,
got
I'm going
chicken
to let
salad
everybody.
and
Oh,
crackers and carrots.
nice. So you appear to eat healthy.
Sometimes.
All right. Well, I know people are going to laugh at me. No big surprise. You can see on my little board here. I'm having another awesome hot link. They are one of my favorites. I did learn a secret. 4th of July, we got some hot dogs and some hot links, and they were totally sold out of hot dog buns. So we had to buy hoagie rolls.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
going to tell everybody a secret here. So there's my hoagie roll. And what I did was I cut it in half lengthwise. And then what I did was I bored out the inside of the hoagie roll. Now, the good news is they come in packs of 6. So if you do this, you get 12. And then you have ample hot dog buns for your hot dog packages, because anyone that knows, they always seem to give you a few extra of one or the other. And so I'm pretty proud of myself with my hoagie hot dog boat, I guess I'll call that. And then I've got my sauerkraut in my plastic container. I know it looks delicious. I have some horseradish cheese that I'm going to throw on there as well. And then, of course, some good old Gildan's, I think that's how you call it, some spicy mustard there. And not to be outdone by all the health nuts out there, I even brought an orange for dessert.
I like it, yeah.
So I'll be concocting this as we visit through the interview, and we'll see what it looks like when all is said and done. So I told you, you don't have to worry about eating on camera. However, that is a goal of mine, to eventually maybe just have a box lunch where we don't speak at all. We just eat. So
enjoy the sounds of eating. Yeah.
So I'll plate this up while we're talking, and then we'll do a wonderful presentation. I am curious about your chicken salad, though. Any special tips, any special procedures to ensure deliciousness? How do you go about creating your masterpiece?
So I don't know if it's special, but so we usually poach the chicken and then shred it and just kind of play it by ear. Mayonnaise, dill, celery, grapes, walnuts, salt and pepper.
Onions? No
onions? Onion powder.
Onion
powder. I'm not an onion person, but I like the onion powder. Yeah.
That can be a very sensitive subject with some chicken salad sandwiches. Onions or no onions. It's one that I've heard has been a lifelong debate. I myself as well prefer the onion powder. And I know it does add some crunch, which it sounds like you're taking care of with some other ingredients as well.
Mm-hmm.
So look forward to seeing it. And I'm assuming your family enjoys it as well. I see that you have some daughters as well. Do you have to make them a special blend, or does everyone eat the same thing?
Well, my oldest daughter, she's 15, and she's always been a very adventurous and good eater. So she'll eat just about anything that we make. our little one, who's going to be 4, she's a lot more picky. So she doesn't even touch the chicken salad. She just eats the very plain poached chicken. We pull out like a piece for her and cut it up.
So this is a true story. Going back to the onions reference, my kids, when they were little, their grandmother made them macaroni and cheese and set them down at the table, plated it all up, and the kids proceeded to take a bite, spit it all over the living room, and couldn't figure out quite what was wrong with the mac and cheese. Come to find out, apparently, some grandparents put onions in them, and it took a little while to even get my kids to try macaroni and cheese again after that horrible incident. They were shocked and could not even conceptualize the fact that the only thing in macaroni and cheese was anything other than just a lot of cheese. So learning experience for them, and just another lesson to always tell your children what's in it, be honest, and then you'll usually save yourself a few headaches. So, so Jessica, tell me a little bit about how did you come to be involved in the New Stories, New Futures exhibit over at Pioneer Tower?
Well, really, I guess it was as much of a surprise to me, maybe as it was to others. I've been working in DFW for 15 years or so, and during that time, I've shown my work in different places throughout the region. And Dr. Lauren Cross is someone who I've known for a number of years, and she actually curated my first solo exhibition, and we've kind of been in touch for a while, right? So when she reached out to me with this opportunity, it felt like a no-brainer because anything that she does is just so thoughtfully done. She has a great eye, and she's always thinking about, all of the range of things that you would hope a curator would keep in mind. So I knew that when she invited me to this, that it was for a specific reason, and that she could see, my work being in this in a particular way. So I got the invitation and went to go see the space, and we talked about it, and it just all kind of fell together.
That's really, really amazing. Now it says here that your discipline, so to speak, or your art, explores concepts of time, memory, home, and culture through printed and projected layered images in spaces and in built structures. So are buildings your canvas? Will you mind, just expanding on that a little bit? Tell us a little bit how you go about creating your art, and is that structural component essential to what you do?
Yeah, so I guess I picked up a camera when I was in middle school, and since then, I love taking pictures. It's a way that I document the world around me and kind of process my ideas of things, and I typically shoot in film. And then what I'll do is, instead of, I'll print my pictures, right? But I also like to play with kind of the presentation of images. For me personally, and with my art, just like printing a picture and having it in a frame, I do that sometimes, but I like to kind of push the medium a little bit beyond that. So I started kind of layering images. Sometimes I'll print on transparency paper and layer images that way. I've also printed on like vinyl adhesive that has a slight transparency to it, and layered those images as well, and stuck them, directly on the wall, or built structures to kind of stick them on and around. And kind of in that work, I've also played with projecting images onto spaces. So for example, I think a lot about family history, right? And the repetition of certain, I guess, like ideas, right, that continue to come about generation after generation. So I'll take old photographs of like my first home with my youngest daughter and project that image into the space of our current home, right? And then kind of re-photograph that image as well. So this idea of like layering, of time being, something that we're experiencing, but also kind of reminiscing about, and just how, I guess, like blurry memory can be. So you kind of see actually behind me, see if I can move a little bit.
Yes.
Some images that are similar to this, that have that layer and transparency. And this is actually a still shot from the video that I'm working on for the projection for New Stories, New Futures.
Wow, it's absolutely amazing. Do you find also, and I'm assuming here, do you find texture, dimension, to be an allure to the project, or is it really just about seeing the image in various ways as well?
Definitely, I think like texture, the texture of the walls and the spaces is interesting to me. And I have done some projections where I've taken like photographs of like the ocean or of trees and projected them onto, concrete surfaces in the city, like the sides of the freeways, things like that, or like the pillars of underpasses, to see kind of how the image gets shaped around a space. And I know that Lauren was familiar with that kind of work that I've done. So I was really excited to see the space that we have to work with, and we kind of picked out a specific location, right? That kind of has this undulating walls that I think the images will do some kind of nice, it'll have a nice aesthetic to kind of see the images flowing around the walls. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very curious to talk about that. I have one more question. As an artist, I'm always very, very interested in the artist's eye and what they see. I know that we try to convey what's in our head to the people that are looking at it. When you are creating your images and you find yourself looking at the different dimensional aspects, or the time jump from picture one to picture two, do you see more similarities or more differences when you're layering those images with the same area or perception, so to speak? How does your mind work those things out? Are you finding more differences or more liked items?
I think it's really a mix of both, right? Similarities and differences, and it's all about that idea how, like, oh, so for example, I'm from Galveston. I was born in Galveston, Texas, and moved away when I was young, right? I've been in Fort Worth since I was 4. And every year, my family has visited Galveston to visit grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins. And when I was young, we used to go like 4 times a year. And as I've gotten older, I still go 2 or 3 times a year. So it's about kind of like revisiting places and memories, and how both the place changes and you change. So when I look at those images from, different places or the same place, but, years apart, I see both, the similarities of what remains, but also kind of that great distance of things that have changed.
Wow, it just sounds so cool. It's always so neat to have your perceptions of work and then actually have an opportunity to speak to the people who create them and see if those perceptions match. And I know that a lot of artists say that that's really not their place to convey the message. They just want people to interpret it as they see fit, or where it fits in their life, or histories themselves. Which one of those artists are you? Do you have something that you're wanting people to get, or are you just putting it out there and letting people interpret these exhibits as they might perceive them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as an educator, I like people to interpret and form their own opinions about things, because that's such an important process of experiencing art. Because when a viewer comes to art, it is not just about learning like the history of what that art piece is, but it's really about connecting with that work of art and having their own personal unique experience. So I think that's probably what I want people to do the most. But I also understand, people who are like, but what does it mean? And they want more context.
So do you make something up? And you don't have to answer this. I don't want you to give your secrets away. If someone's really pressing you, so to speak, will you give them that? Or will you just say, hey man, that's up to you. Good luck. That's the whole point.
I'll give them that, but I do try to get them to like come up with something first that's not informed by what my process is and what I think, right? So
now, I heard you say that you had been to the space and that you had picked a location or an area that you felt fit what you were trying to accomplish. Now, do you have a theme in mind? Is your exhibit set and ready to go? Or are you still feeling things out and seeing what it is you're hoping to create after the fact, knowing where it's going and what constraints you may have, or honestly, what you're inspired by there?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely still a work in progress. When I first thought about the space, my most recent series of work is called Under the Southern Cross, and it's a collection of images that are layered, that are from, some of them are from 10 or 15 years ago, and some of them are more recent. But it's all images that relate to, places that are significant to me and my family. So Galveston figures prominently, my grandparents' homes, and places like, me and my daughter went on a trip to Mexico City when she was 8. So images from that trip, images from a recent trip to Buenos Aires and to Montevideo. That was pre-pandemic, of course, but that was a really special trip because I had been previously about 14 years prior to going again. And when I went the first time, I had gone with some friends, and this time I got to revisit that space with my children and my family. So thinking about, these different places, and I guess for me, that first visit down to South America, it really opened my eyes to learn about artists that I had never heard about before. So I think all of these places for me have a really important cultural significance that have helped me kind of form my idea of what it means to be a Latina, what Latino art can look like, and things that maybe weren't really taught in high school or even undergrad.
Wow. Are you familiar with the other artists that are included in this particular exhibit as well? Or is this the first time that you've got to experience their work too?
So I think all of them I knew of, and some of them I know, and have worked with on things before. But it's been really exciting to meet up, to walk through the space together at night, of course, because we have to see it when it's dark.
Yep.
And we have another meetup coming up soon. So.
Awesome. What are you as an artist hopeful that people take away from this project? Not necessarily your work in particular, but what is your hope that comes from this particular project over here at the Will Rogers Tower?
Well, I guess there's a couple of things. First, I want people to think of Fort Worth as more than just cowboys and culture, right? To have a broader idea of what that means, of what culture means in Fort Worth. And I think that Lauren did an amazing job of choosing a great array of artists who are working in different media, who represent different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and experiences and perspectives. So I hope that people will take that away from it, as well as like seeing Fort Worth putting this devotion to this new media project, also kind of thinking about technology and Fort Worth art as something that is more than just oil paintings, something that's a little bit more contemporary.
Yeah, I agree. I know that I know there's been a lot of talk, good and debatable anyway, about murals, and it seems as though we are, a little bit behind Dallas or whatever, as they always say, in terms of murals and those kind of cool things. I know that Fort Worth Public Art is always and has been for, gosh, forever. And then it starts getting talked about. And now here we are. I know Aurora is very popular in the Dallas area, and we're very thankful to have them to be a part of this as well. And it's really neat to see, again, the technology coming over to the Fort Worth area. And I know a lot of people say that it's a progression artistically, but I still like to remind people a lot of these mediums and disciplines have been here as well. So I cannot encourage people enough to come to the Cultural District, the Amon Carter, the Kimball, all of those things, because there are some fantastic, extremely talented people here already. And we need to continue to do all we can to continue to push that message. And so you mentioned your most recent work that is viewable now. Where can we find that?
So it's not on view anywhere other than my website, but
Well,
you can go to
viewable. That's a viewable.
you can go to my website, yeah, jessicafuentes.com. So that was a body of work that I was working on really during the pandemic this past year as part of an artist residency project I did with Tarrant County College South Campus.
Nice.
So the work hasn't been produced physically and I haven't shown it yet, but it's up on the website.
Very nice. Now, did you find the pandemic inspired you or didn't inspire you? I know that a lot of people have gone back and forth about, oh, I should have written my masterpiece, or I did write my masterpiece. What did the pandemic do for you artistically?
The pandemic was like a roller coaster. You know, at the time when the pandemic first started, I was working at the Amon Carter Museum of American Art, and we were really trying to figure out how all of our in-person programs so that we could continue to serve the students of Fort Worth. And so there was a lot of work to be done. And I was lucky and fortunate to have such a great team of people to work with to bring that to fruition. But I did feel kind of like I was going full steam with work and no time to think about art. But once we got it all ready and prepared, then it kind of opened up some time and space for me to think and reflect. And I did have those moments. Like I said, you know, I created that body of work during that time. So I definitely had some space to kind of reflect on past ideas and to create. But there were also these like really high tension moments with work and balancing and, you know, working from home with a teenager and a toddler and all of those fun things.
Wow. Yeah, it has certainly been a challenge and a choice, so to speak. I'm so very grateful and thankful that we've made it this far. And I just am so grateful to you for taking the time and coming on today. And just I cannot wait to see all of this fantastic work. It has been such a blessing to talk to all of you. And you mentioned your website. Are there any other links or any other areas where your work is around, or even things that you have been a part of that you'd like to share with us, or direct any traffic to any place you feel is important?
I mean, I guess my Instagram account is really the place where I post everything, right? You see my daily life and my art and everything like combined. So that's a good place to keep up with me and the things that I'm doing.
Awesome. Well, it's very, very exciting. And I want to remind everybody that you will have an exhibit live and in person coming August 20th and 21st as the Arts Council of Fort Worth and Aurora present a public exhibition curated by Lauren Cross, featuring works by Texas artists who work with technology-based art. It really is going to be quite amazing. New stories, new futures. will support the debut of 2 large-scale new media installations by internationally renowned artists, Rafiq Anadol and Quayola. I can't wait to see what they've got in store. So that will be projected on the sides of the Pioneer Tower in the Will Rogers Memorial Center. And then we will have 10 great artists on the ground, in and around the grounds as well. And it is going to be just really, really something to see. Again, August 20th and 21st, this takes place from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. So drink your coffee and come join us. It is absolutely free. All you need to do is go to the website, newstoriesnewfutures.org, sign up for a time so that we can make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. Jessica, do you have your chicken salad plated up? Do you use bread, or do you just eat it right out of your little canister there?
I don't have it plated, but I have my crackers and I'm just gonna, dip. Do you have yours plated?
I do. I'm going to give you a little view here of my wonderful little hoagie boat hot link there.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Woo, woo. I've got my waves of orange peels there as well. Jessica, it has been a joy. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom for our audience out there?
Oh, words of wisdom. I guess, get out and see some local art. Get out to the community arts center, get out to local galleries, support your artists.
Yes, and make sure you sign up and come see us August 20th and 21st for the New Stories, New Futures exhibit right here at the Cultural District at the Will Rogers Auditorium. Jessica, it's been a pleasure. I cannot thank you enough for taking the time. Keep up the great work, and we can't wait to see your fabulous exhibit over here in our neck of the woods.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure. All right, folks, that wraps up another edition of Box Lunch. We'll be back next Monday with another fantastic artist. And until then, take care of yourself, take care of everybody else around you, and we'll be back real soon. Bye-bye, everybody.